Have you seen that video of that woman eating a radish, like an older lady? And she was asked the question, would you rather have sex or a radish? And she was like, well, it depends. Like, if it was good sex, I'd rather have sex. But if it was bad sex, I'd rather have a radish.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than bad sex.
Oh, God, it's the worst. It just like, oh, I can feel it in my body, like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think most of us would pass on bad sex if we knew that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that right there, gentlemen, that's the number one place where a lot of this has to start from, is that this has to start from a place not so much of like aggressive taking or dominating. It has to start a lot from creating this like safe space of like, no, this is for you to relax, to let down your guard, like to create this nice little nest.
Yeah, and I think the safety is created outside of the bedroom too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for me, just like being able to trust that, because for women, where we start, where society like teaches us how these dynamics go, is we give something up and then we're made wrong for it, and the dude can just go on his merry way and feel great about himself. Yeah, and like feel like he's kind of like bested us. Like that, at least that's how I've started. It's like that's why a part of me like never wanted to like wouldn't come or wouldn't like give it up, because it didn't want to be like conquered by that kind of energy. And so I think just being able to feel safe with you, that that's not how you are thinking about this, that is, especially for me, this is just what me and my parts needed a lot, was like to really trust that, like, yeah, you wanted to be with me and you will be with me tomorrow, like you will be with me after this. And that this wasn't like a being conquered thing. Like this is a safe thing for me to open up to. Yeah, like that makes a big difference. If I don't have that, I don't have anything. Like this energetic experience that we share in sex is unavailable to me. And my parts are really sensitive about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's how it is for a lot of women.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of feminine creatures.
No, that's part of the thing, that when you start to tap into your energetics a lot and you just really open yourself to what you're feeling, you'll recognize it a lot as more of, when you walk into a room and you kind of see someone and you think it's like intuition, where you're like, oh, that person kind of seems like sketchy, or that person seems really nice. And when you open up to energetics, you feel the energy more than you do like, oh, I just know what's going on here. And so when you are with your partner, or even if you're dating and like kind of new to someone, being open and sensitive to that really lays the groundwork to create that layer of safety and vulnerability. That is where you start from, because without that, there's always this like block. The energies always are kind of blocked, and you kind of just are kind of pushing at each other, and
there's like plexiglass in between.
Yeah, there's just disconnected, and you're just kind of doing the act, and then at the end of it, you're like, well, that was great. I'm gonna fucking go. And like, it's a real kind of tragedy when that's how the energetics start, and then a relationship forms around, and you never really let down that barrier. Then eventually there's not really a point to having sex, because you're not really exchanging anything. You're not really getting that much pleasure out of it. I mean, for guys, there's definitely a kind of release mechanism that really helps refresh our internal chemistry, clear our mind, all that kind of stuff. And even that kind of loses its flavor after a while when there's no sexual tension, when that energy is not exchanged and that plexiglass is up. It just feels dead. It just feels dead. Benign. Yeah. And I mean, that's where so many relationships eventually just become roommates, or like when there's other priorities that are kind of like blocking energy or taking so much of your energy, whether you've got kids or a career or super needy pet or something like that.
Have you seen that video of that woman eating a radish, like an older lady? And she was asked the question, would you rather have sex or a radish? And she was like, well, it depends. Like, if it was good sex, I'd rather have sex. But if it was bad sex, I'd rather have a radish.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than bad sex.
God, it's the worst. It just like, oh, I can feel it in my body, like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I think most of us would pass on bad sex if we knew that was what was going to happen.
Yeah. Give me a radish. But man, good sex. I didn't know it could be like this, y'all. I did not know.
And like, there's definitely a whole, universe of good. There's like, oh, this was really nice, and like just kind of what we both needed, and we connected, and it was simple and just kind of fun, real basic kind of interactions that are really powerful, like those little baby interactions. Sometimes that's what sex can be, of like, you know what, that was just great, and I'm glad we got to do that. And then it can go to infinity, where it's just like, I thought we were like one entity being, and like, the astral plane, and pleasure was like this infinite source of exploding. We were in the Big Bang, and all the Big Bang was just pure pleasure. It can get crazy like that.
Yeah, it really can.
Hey everybody, thanks for enjoying this episode of the Heart is a Muscle podcast. We really enjoy creating this content for you, and we want to share some more resources so you can get even more content. So take it away, Jordin.
That's right. If you want to follow either one of us on socials, if you want to work with either one of us, if you want access to our YouTube channel, if you want to buy our book, links to all that stuff is on our Patreon. So that is patreon.com/theheartisamuscle. Now, you don't have to join Patreon to get access to those links.
But you probably should. The more that you support us and support this channel, the more that we can create this awesome content to help support you, because that's really why we do this. We want to make your guys' lives better, and your support really matters.
Yeah, and what you'll get when you join Patreon is a shout out in our next episode, and you will also get access to listener requests, where you will get to request what you want us to talk about in future episodes.
So from the Heart is a Muscle podcast to you guys, thank you so much for all the support, all the feedback. We really, really enjoy it, and we'll talk to you all later.
Truly love you guys so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.